Hey guys, and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all of my fails of 2021. I already shared with you my most used product of 2021. I'm going to have a link to this video in the description box. But today I wanted to look back in 2021 and share with you all of the products that disappointed me, all of my expensive mistakes, products that I didn't use for one reason or another, and products that didn't work for me. Now, a little disclaimer before I start showing you each of the products. These products that you're going to see in this video, they didn't work for me, or for some reason I didn't use them enough and I consider them a waste of money. This doesn't mean that these products are not going to work for you, and this doesn't mean that you shouldn't try these products. So I'm going to share with you the reasons why I don't like these products and the reasons why they don't work for me personally. But once again, keep in mind that everyone is different. We all have different preferences in makeup, and you might like these products actually, and they might end up being some of your favorite products. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. If you're new here and you love luxury beauty, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the fun now. I would love to have you as part of this lovely beauty family that we have here. If you're returning, welcome back, dear friends. I would like to ask all of you to share with me in the comment section below your fails of 2021. What were some expensive mistakes that you made in 2021, products that you regret purchasing? Now, I know that a lot of you are based in the US and you can return products in case you're not happy. In Europe, that's not the case. And once we purchase products, we can't return them. Now, I don't have that many disappointments because I always research the products very well, because in case I make a mistake and in case I don't like a product, I cannot return it just the way that you do in US or other countries. I believe in Canada also you can return products, but in Europe there is no return policy. If you unbox a product, you can't return it. So it's basically a waste of money. Now let's go ahead and get started with my Complexion product. Now for Complexion, I have two products that were disappointment for me and that I consider waste of money just because they don't work on my skin and I don't use them often. The first one and the biggest disappointment is the Westman Atelier foundation. I know that it works for a lot of people, but just on me it looks quite cakey. It doesn't look flawless on my skin. I love her cream blushes. I love also the stick highlighter, which I've shown in favorites videos, but the foundation, it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't give me that really flawless complexion. It emphasizes dry patches, it emphasizes pores, and it doesn't stay all day long. So that's why this is a disappointment for me. I know that for some people it works, but for me it was a huge disappointment. Sadly, again, I cannot return it, and I've tried using it with a brush, with fingers, I've tried using it as concealer. I cannot make it work. So this is a product that just sits in a drawer of unused products. I'm probably going to declutter this at some point and gift this to someone who can use it. And then the next Complexion product that I have, which was a little bit of a disappointment. Now, I wouldn't say this is a huge disappointment. This is the Gucci foundation, because it is quite expensive, but it was not what I expected. It is not a bad foundation, don't get me wrong, just not as good. And I didn't use it a lot. So I was only using it here and there occasionally. And every time when I use it, I just don't feel happy with the way it wears throughout the day. So it looks okay in the beginning, but then after a couple of hours of wear, it starts to look I start to see it on my skin. I like when my foundations look absolutely flawless and when they are invisible on the skin, when they don't emphasize pores or fine lines or anything. And this one just didn't do it for me. Once again, it is not a bad foundation. This is not a huge disappointment, but if I were in a country where we had a return policy, this was definitely going back. I was not going to keep this foundation. Next, moving on to a couple of powders that were a huge disappointment for me. I didn't use them and I couldn't find any use for them. And if you have watched my review of the Dior Backstage powder, you're going to know that this was a huge disappointment for me. I tried everything to make this powder work, and I know that there are a lot of people out there who love this powder. For me, it was a huge disappointment because I can see it on my skin when I apply it. It emphasizes pores, it looks cakey, it looks like powder, It doesn't make my skin flawless, and I believe that a powder should make my skin look absolutely gorgeous, absolutely flawless. I shared with you some of my favorite loose powders of 2021 in my 2021 favorites video. Once again, I'm going to have this video linked in the description box in case you want to see the products that I use almost on a daily basis, that I used the most in 2021. But this one, you can see that I ruined the design in attempts to make this powder work. And every time when I see someone using this powder and raving about this powder, I give it a go. I try using it, but just there is something, it didn't work for me, and it was a huge disappointment. If I had the chance, I would definitely return this powder. So this one is probably the biggest disappointment in all products that I'm going to show you today. Then I have another powder disappointment, and this one is from Guerlain. This is actually a compact foundation. And I purchased this because I wanted to use it as a summer foundation, because I don't use foundation on a daily basis, and using some powder on top of my sunscreen usually works very well. This one has SPF 15 and it's Lingerie de Peau Compact Matte Velvet Foundation. And I love the Lingerie de Peau foundation from Guerlain. It's really beautiful. Guerlain have some amazing makeup products. This powder just didn't work for me for the same reason as Dior. It just looks visible on my skin. It looks cakey. It is quite heavy. And when I apply it on my skin, it just looks horrible. It looks like I have powder, which is something that I don't like. With makeup, I like my complexion to be really flawless, because I believe that if you have beautiful complexion, it doesn't really matter. You can even skip eye makeup, but complexion is very important for me. And this powder just didn't make it. I had huge hopes for this powder. It has the typical Guerlain scent, and which I love. It has the typical meteorites scent. So I tried applying this powder on top of foundation. I tried to apply it on bare face. I couldn't make it work, just like the Dior powder. But if I have to rank those two, then the Guerlain powder looks way better than the Dior powder, because somehow I can make it work if I don't use foundation. So the way I use this one is only on bare skin. I apply only a little bit of sunscreen and then this on top, and it works. But still, if I had the chance to return this powder, I was going to return it. Next, moving on to a couple of highlighters which I would return if I had the chance to. And one is a limited edition Bobbi Brown highlighter, and this is in Opal Glow. This is the highlighting powder. It used to be a limited edition. So this one used to be limited edition, and I'm going to show you the inside. It looks like a cool toned highlighter, pinkish, which I love. These are the kind of highlighters that I usually adore. But then for some reason, it's just not super finely milled. When I touch it, it does have a little bit of texture, and it doesn't melt into my skin. It doesn't look really good. I cannot use it. It's not as intense so that I can use it on my eyelids like I do with a lot of highlighters. It just didn't work on my eyelids. It didn't work on my skin, on my face. It's not a bad product. Don't get me wrong here. It's not a bad product. It's just that I have enough good highlighters, and this one just doesn't do it for me. If I had the chance, I would return it, just because it's not as beautiful as I expected. And yeah, so it was a disappointment. I was actually thinking that I'm going to review this highlighter, but then I kept putting this off and it became an old product, and I just skipped reviewing this product just because I was trying to make it work. I was trying to play with this highlighter, and then I just lost interest, and it's sitting in my drawer unused. So I'm probably going to gift this to someone who can use it and enjoy it more than me. And then the other highlighter that I didn't use, and if I had the chance I would return, is the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. I have a review of this one. Now, it doesn't look bad on my skin. You can see my review, you can see my video, and this one doesn't really look bad on me. It's suitable for face and body. It is not a bad product, but I just don't use it. It is this champagne highlighter. I know that a lot of you love this product, but for some reason I just didn't use it, and it's just sitting in my drawer. I never reach for this highlighter, and if I had the chance I would return it. But keep in mind that this is actually a good product. It looks nice on my skin, but not as nice as I would want it to look. I don't know, I just didn't use it. Besides, it's quite big for a highlighter. I don't really enjoy this packaging because I kept using it, and I tried using it, but somehow I just don't reach for this. Moving on to a face palette that I absolutely loved when I purchased. I thought it was so beautiful, so gorgeous, but I just don't use it, and that's why I'm putting this palette into my fails video. It's not a fail in sense that it doesn't look good on me. It looks good. This is a Burberry palette, and this is the Essentials Glow palette, and this, I believe, is the medium. Yes, it's 02 medium to dark. Now, it's not a bad palette. I really like the blushes and I like the highlighters, but for some reason I just didn't use it. I keep it in a drawer and I never reach for this palette, probably because it's a palette, probably because I find somehow inconvenient that this is a palette. I don't know, I can't really tell why. I just didn't use the palette. But once again, it does look good on me. When I start using it and when I use the blushes, the highlighters, they look good on me. They work just fine on my skin tone. But for some reason, I'm just not reaching for this palette, and that's why if I had the chance, I would return it. Probably I'm just not the kind of person who reaches for big palettes. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below if you have this palette, if you use it. It is a beautiful palette. I would actually recommend it for someone if you want to have a bronzer, blusher, and highlighters. I would actually recommend this palette if you like to use this kind of products. And now as I swatch it, actually, it swatches so pretty and the colors are so pretty, but I just have to force myself to use it. I just don't reach for this palette so often. And then the next product that is a disappointment, again, this is a blush, and this is from Chantecaille. This is from, I believe it was the spring makeup collection, I'm not really sure, but this was a disappointment for me. First of all, because this was so expensive, and somehow on the promo photos, the packaging looked very impressive, and now when I actually received the product, I purchased this for myself. I was disappointed that I spent that much money on this cheap packaging. I know that a lot of people adore this packaging, but you really have to keep it on your dressing table. You can't put it in your handbag, because if I put it in my handbag, these are going to go loose. And I know from a lot of you guys that these little flowers here tend to fall, and it's plastic. And once I have it in my hands, it just looks so cheap. It looks like a product that is for like, I don't know, for $5 or something like this. I showed this to my boyfriend who is not into makeup, and I asked him like, what do you think? How much does it cost? And he said like $5, and I was like, oh gosh. But that's a real story. It just looks cheap. And if you're not a fan of the brand, if you're not really into Chantecaille and into supporting their brand, their causes, if we just evaluate the product, it was a huge waste of money for me. Besides the color, I'm not very happy with the color. Now I cannot swatch it, because if I try to swatch this one, you're not going to see it, even on my pale skin tone. Now on the cheeks, it does appear like somewhere in the middle between a highlighter and a blush, but definitely not a blush. And it's only 2 grams of product. It costs more than the Hermes highlighter if you compare, the quantity of the product that you're getting here. Huge disappointment. If I could, I would return it in a heartbeat. Next, moving on to a beautiful face palette from Bobbi Brown, and the only reason why I'm putting this into my fails is because it didn't work with my skin tone. Of course, that was to be expected, because I think that this one was supposed to be used on someone who has medium to tan skin tone. And I think that on someone who has medium to tan skin tone, it's going to look absolutely fabulous. For me, just it doesn't work, and if I had the chance to return it, I was going to return it for sure. I used this, I'm going to have a link actually to a video where I used this product on my face, and it's a gorgeous bronzy product, but for me, I can't use it as highlighter, I can't use it as bronzer, I can't use it as blush. The only reason why I'm putting this here in this video, in my fails video, is because it didn't work with my skin tone. But if you have deeper skin tone than me, it is going to look beautiful. I was thinking that I can use this as a bronzer / blusher, something in the middle. but it just looks dirty when I apply it on my skin, and somehow it just doesn't work with my skin tone. I'm going to give you a swatch. And once again, this is a beautiful product, just not for my skin tone. Next, moving on to some eye makeup, and the first product that I'm going to show is actually the Louboutin palette, eyeshadow palette. I only purchased the refill, and it's not that I don't like it, but I just don't think that I can justify the high price tag. Probably I didn't pick up the right color story, and I was actually wondering if I should purchase this or not. And that's why I decided that I'm only going to purchase the refill so that I don't waste too much money on the packaging as well. And then I was thinking, if I like the quality of the eyeshadows, I'm going to purchase the packaging as well. But then I didn't really think that the quality of the eyeshadows is that exceptional, and it won't justify for me to purchase the packaging as well. The colors actually look nice, they don't look bad at all. And I like the looks that I created with this palette. It's just that I cannot justify the high price tag. It doesn't make me feel that exceptional, and probably if I had the whole packaging, I was going to think differently and I was going to be attracted to the packaging. But overall, I don't think it's worth the high price tag. So that's why I would return it if I had the chance to. But then once again, it's not a bad palette. I'm willing to try more products from Louboutin. Just this one somehow didn't work for me. It doesn't make me feel happy. It doesn't make me reach for this palette. I just don't reach for this palette as often as I would like to. And that's why I cannot justify purchasing this palette. And if I could, I would return it. The next eyeshadow palette that I regret purchasing is from Natasha Denona, and it's her mini Xenon palette. Now, initially when I tried this palette, I loved the looks that I'm creating. I don't think it's a bad palette. It's just that I don't reach for this color story as often. So here the problem is mine. I know that a lot of people had problems with the patchiness of these colors. I don't find them patchy, and I didn't experience any troubles when I wanted to apply these colors on my eyelids. And I'm going to have a link to the video where I used this palette for the first time. I was quite impressed with the result. I liked the look that I created, and I used it a few more times, but it's just not the color story that I'm going to be using as often, and that's why I regret purchasing this palette. But anyways, I bought this palette only for review purposes, and I was not really expecting that I'm going to wear it, so this one is my mistake. And then I have two more products that I wanted to, actually 3 or 4. These are the Dior eyeliners, and recently I did a video dedicated to Dior makeup. I used some of my favorites, and I shared with you also a couple of fails. This one was one of the fails, and these eyeliners, the Dior eyeliners, they dry so quickly in a few months. So if you buy any of the Dior eyeliners, you better use them, otherwise they dry completely. And now I only kept them for this video, to film this video and to show them to you. I have, I think, 2 more colors, 2 or 3 more colors. It's very sad because I purchased them last year in 2021, and in just a few months they dried completely to the point where I can't use them on my eyes. Next, moving on to another eyeshadow from Louboutin, and this is the liquid eyeshadows. I have 2 of them, and one of them I cannot find it actually. I just was disappointed. First of all, when I got this product, the packaging, to me, as extravagant as it might look on photos or on camera, in real life when you get this, you're wondering like, what's that? The packaging just feels and looks very cheap to me personally. Now, this is a personal opinion. Some people might like it. It looks quite extravagant, but once I have it in my hand, it's just so incredibly yellow and plastic, and it can easily be broken. Keep that in mind. You can easily break this. It just didn't work for me, and I didn't enjoy the quality of the product as well. I'm going to just... And I had also one of the metallic shadows, but I just didn't use. For some reason, I don't enjoy this product, and if I had the chance, I would return, of course. Next, moving on to lipsticks, and the first lipstick is going to be from Chanel, believe it or not. I love Chanel makeup and I really enjoy Chanel makeup, but this lipstick was a fail for me. And this one was from Rouge Allure Ink in 202 Metallic Beige. I just didn't use this color because it doesn't suit my lips. It doesn't look good on my lips. So I'm going to show you. It's this metallic beige color. I'm going to swatch it here. It is beautiful when I swatch it. It has this lovely sunset color, but I think this was going to be beautiful as eyeshadow, not as lipstick, not on me personally, because I find that it's too yellow and it somehow makes me look washed out. It makes me look sick when I wear this color. It just doesn't give me a healthy look, and this is a color from Chanel that I didn't use. Once again, I adore this color when I swatch it. It just reminds me of a beautiful summer sunset, but it didn't work on my lips personally, and I didn't like how it looks on my lips. And then another fail that I have is from Gucci, and this is the glittery lipsticks from Gucci. The reason why I don't love this lipstick, I just didn't use it. It looks gorgeous on Instagram for photos. It's very beautiful, but so this lipstick looks beautiful on photos and on videos, especially if you have a look at this lipstick in the sunshine. It just shines so beautifully. It's almost unrealistic. But then when I apply it on my lips, the reason why I don't like it is because I didn't expect that it's going to be that pink. It's really this neon pink color. And if you enjoy this kind of color, I just picked the wrong shade for me. I should have picked probably the red color. They had, I think, 2 or 3 colors, and I don't know why I picked the fuchsia, because I love fuchsia color. But this one turned out to be so neon pink, the kind of color that I don't wear, and that's why I haven't been wearing this lipstick, but still it's pretty to look at. Then I have one more fail from Dior, and this is the setting spray from Dior. This is the Dior Forever Perfect Fix. I just didn't like this one, and I didn't use this setting spray because it does nothing for me. It doesn't make my makeup more long lasting. The mist is not fine at all, and I don't know, someone told me that they replaced this setting spray in another bottle that has a fine mist. This could probably work. I haven't tried it just because I don't have the time for this. And in general, I'm not a huge fan of setting sprays, so keep that in mind. But this one didn't do anything for me. It just didn't make my makeup more long lasting. I would return it immediately if I could. It's just that, I don't know if you can even see this, but it's so probably here on the black. First of all, it's almost like spraying perfume on your face. It's so heavily fragranced, which I don't appreciate. I'm not troubled by fragrances in makeup and fragranced foundations, but this one just is, it almost feels like spraying perfume on my face. And the mist, I can almost see the droplets. That I can almost, when I spray this on my face, I can almost see the little droplets on my skin, and that's why I don't like it. I tried also spraying this on Beauty Blender and just tapping on my face, but it just didn't change the way my foundation looks or powder looks, and it didn't make my makeup more long lasting. So that's why it's just pointless for me. If I could, I would return it. And last, we have one skincare product. Now this is the Rose de Mai Eye Cream, Eye Lift. I didn't like this product. I couldn't possibly justify the high price tag of this product because it does absolutely nothing. If you have dry skin, it's definitely going to feel drying. It has alcohol. I was expecting some kind of a lifting action. This is actually an empty. I used it whole, and it doesn't last for a long time. It's a very light serum product that did nothing for my fine lines. I don't have a lot of issues under my eyes, apart from, some fine lines, which is quite normal because I'm 35 years old. It just did nothing for my skin, and my skin would feel so dry after applying this, like an hour after applying this. But my under eye area just would feel so dry, and I would feel the need to apply this product and then apply some other eye cream on top in order to get some moisture into my skin. So this makes it useless for me and pointless and a huge waste of money. Okay guys, so that was all for today's video. These were all of my fails of 2021. As I said, I'm always very careful with the products that I buy. I always try to research them as much as possible so that I don't waste a lot of money, because I don't receive PR. And this makes it quite hard, especially when you cannot return products. So let me know in the comment section below, what were your fails? What were the products that you consider to be a waste of money? Because this is going to help our whole community. And don't forget to check out the comment section to this video, because we have people that have amazing makeup collections and we can learn so much from them. So be sure to check out the comment section below, because I learned so much from you. And let's help each other. Let's save money together and share the products that didn't work for you. And please share why they didn't work for you, whether it's going to be because of your skin type or whether you just didn't like the color. Just be sure to share also why you didn't like the products, because this is going to help our whole community to save some money and not to buy products that are not for us. Thank you so much for watching once again and for spending time with me. I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, bye.